What's going on?
What's up, everyone? Woo! Welcome. Happy Sunday. Wow, it's a really nice Sunday for once.
It is an extremely nice weekend. This weekend was pretty nice.
It didn't rain. It's been raining nonstop here in New York City, but it's getting warmer. We're in June, baby. Wow, already.
Time's flying.
Already June.
It was like yesterday we were preparing for, promotions for Dingbats and for
The festival
and for the Global Citizens Festival. Like we're
just packed
just
with
flying.
a bunch of events.
And we're gonna touch base on those real quick right now because I think everyone should know this. We've been heavily marketing this. We made skits. We were just going off all last month, and we surpassed top 20 in the round.
We got up to top.
We were
three,
in third place.
Third place.
Bouncing. We're fighting between third and fourth place up there. And thanks to all of you that has voted. And
thank you so much, everyone.
And supported the cause. Every vote you can free vote 24 hours with a valid Facebook account. And if you want to support the cause to fight world hunger and have equity around the world, be sure to send a donation in through the Global Citizens Foundation through our link, because every vote, every donation, every dollar donation counts to a singular vote for us. So it supports us and the cause at the same time. Well, we're doing it. We're rocking it. We're up there. So hopefully we get to the next couple of rounds, and we can't do it without you. So.
And Central Park, here we go. Let's get us there. Let's get on that stage. And then, also, we have a show coming up in July 17th, and that's at Dingbats. In Clifton, New Jersey, his hometown. So, if you guys are in the New York City or New Jersey area and you guys are not that far, come hang out. Come see us perform. And, we'll give you, some merch. We'll give you some free stuff, It's always a surprise when you come see us. We always got something for you guys.
We're going to have a special guest bassist joining us for that night. This guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Berkeley, graduate. Played in so many large bands.
With a lot of great names, too.
So we're so happy to have him on for our show. And, we're working out the set, and it's just going to be an amazing night.
We're working on a new song, too. So we just dropped a new song 2 weeks ago. But, you got to keep going. You got to keep grinding. So we might have a new song that day to debut. We don't know yet. If you go, you'll find out. You'll be the first to listen to the new song. So enough about us. We got to talk about the real rock star here tonight. We got an amazing, amazing guy. Huge company. You guys know we cater to a lot of drummers. Our drummers, we love you. And we went to the UK drum show last year. We didn't make it to what was it? What was the thing that we wanted to go really bad this year, but we couldn't go? We didn't go to NAMM.
Oh, we didn't go to NAMM. Yeah, we were trying to. We
couldn't. A lot of
it.
things that obviously we have so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Stay busy, you know what I mean? But next year we're going to be there. And I know they've been featured at NAMM. I know they've been in a lot of places where, you can really dive in, ask questions, and see it for yourself. Well, right now you guys have the chance to ask questions, to know more about the company, how it started. And he's a drummer himself, too.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out, what are his favorite drummers, what are his favorite bands, what makes him awesome. And I think, we should get him out here so we can talk more and find out more, right?
Let's do it.
So introducing Will Butera. Butera. Will, are you ready for me?
I am ready. Let's do this.
He's
right,
ready. Let's get him on the screen. There he is.
All right.
All right.
Hello. How's it going?
Wow. So thank you so much. I got to thank you first for giving us this time and space to get to know you, to get to know more about your company and everything that you do for drummers, because I know you work with drummers, and it's amazing to have you here. So thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be talking with you guys today.
So you're an East Coaster, right? You're from Philly. All right.
Yep.
So are you like a native and you still live there? Or are you bi-coastal or anything like that?
I grew up just outside of Philly and been here other than, a blip for school, but always East Coast. I love the West Coast, but I've always been, you know, on
Same
this
here.
side.
I
Yeah.
do love, both East Coast, West Coast. They all have something special, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So you're also a drummer,
yeah.
which I love. I always like hearing stories how you started being a drummer. When did you pick up your first sticks?
Yeah. It so I actually started I wanted to play the trumpet, and I
I
think
love
the
trumpet
thought of
players too.
it seems so fun. And I think the thought of like hearing someone learn play the trumpet threw my parents off. Like it probably would be like the first 5 years of your kid playing the trumpet. God bless parents, but
Yeah.
And saxophone players. I do love
yeah.
saxophone players and
Oh
trumpet
yeah.
players. Wow. Yeah. So I get
Um,
it.
yeah, so that got shot down, and then my sister actually went to just the local music store for guitar lessons, and they had drum lessons. So, parents just kind of signed me up. There was a little interest before then. I think they saw it, and that's why they signed me up. But it wasn't like it wasn't top of my mind, and just kind of it was fun. I loved it, and probably took about 3 years for it to really like click. Like I remember there was like one summer when it was just kind of all I did, and I was like, okay, all right, I get this. This is what I do.
Well, I think that's interesting because trumpet, saxophone player, drums are pretty noisy too.
Yeah.
It's like God bless your parents too. I know my dad,
Yeah.
God bless his soul too, because he let me have a whole drum set in the living room and just bang it out and just he
Yeah.
was great. So having really supportive parents, I think, are like
Definitely.
the number one thing when you're a child, right? Like
Mhm.
growing up, saying you want to be a drummer, and it's like, all right.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. See what happens.
so they had
Yeah.
faith.
So does
Yeah.
your parents play any music at all, or anyone in your family play?
You know, my dad used to when he grew up, but it wasn't really music was in the house. There's a lot of music in the house. But you know, my sisters did piano lessons. I grew up with three older sisters, and they all did piano at one point, and one of them tried the violin. So it wasn't ever like a required thing, but I think everyone had like a let me try it out.
That's beautiful.
Kinda-
So a musical
yeah.
family. And are you the
Yeah.
baby? Are you the baby brother?
I am.
Oh, so everybody.
Yeah.
I have a baby brother. That's my baby. So I know three sisters. Wow, a lot of
Yeah.
love growing up.
Definitely. They were
That's
great.
beautiful. That's amazing.
It's great too that you just jumping into the music realm. Like you could have just went anywhere, and then with that having to kickstart, no pun intended, your company, because
Yeah.
without that you wouldn't have known what you needed to create to help drummers.
Right. Yeah. The gift and the curse of the drums is that there's just so much stuff that we have to have, and everything's gonna go wrong. Like, cause the hi hat, there's 1,000 pieces just on that stand alone, and then you got like times that by 10 for every other part of the instrument you have. So there's like that was the curse growing up and living as a drummer. Like you got to bring so much gear, but as far as like it just left a lot of opportunity for like, oh, I could improve this. Like KickBlock came from just trying to fix the problem for myself, and I needed to do it in a very like portable way, because going to other shows.
And to be carrying cinder blocks around.
Yeah. I there was one time when I was filling in, so I didn't know these guys at the time, and the singer was very into working out, and he had two 50-pound dumbbells.
Oh.
So I would put them on the bass drum, and it would help, but it wouldn't do the full thing. But one time I lost one of the dumbbells, and those things aren't cheap, as I
No.
found out. So yeah, so it's there's tons of ways drummers try and fix it, but
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
And when was the light bulb moment when you were like, and you started to create the first prototype of the
Yeah, so
KickBlock?
it was right before I went on like our first legit non-DIY tour. My band at the time, Joy Again, we were about to go and open up for someone, so we're doing like actual 1,000-cap venues, and that was a big jump for us from going from basement shows and
Oh, yeah.
small like 200-person venues. So I was like, okay, got to take this seriously. I was trying to get everything prepared. I was practicing a lot. I like, saving up all my money for the tour. Just so it's like wasn't going out, going to bed early, working a lot, and then drumming a lot. And the one thing we had a show like 2 weeks before, and the one thing like everything playing really well, bass drum all over, and I couldn't control it. And so there'd be like halfway through a song, the pedals fully separated, the bass drum's over there, it's sideways. I'm like reaching over to get to the rack tom. So I was like, I can't control that. Like, or that's what it felt like. Like I've done all this other stuff. I'm ready to go. I'm playing it the best I can, and still the drum set's letting me down. So I was trying to figure out what to do. I was ready to do the classic, get a rug, drill, 4x4 into it, which works for tons of people. But when I was talking to my dad, I had to borrow his tools to do that. He's like, why are you going to do that? You just got this rug and you're going to ruin it by drilling into it. Plus, at the time, it was a 5-person band with like, keyboard, amps, full drum set, fitting it into a Toyota Sienna for a month. So we had all our personal clothes, all our merch. So there was no room to have a rug, rolled up, because if you put the 4x4 in there, you can only roll it. So it's like a 6'2".
Yeah.
So my dad, he was like, why can't we make this like detachable? So we were trying out a bunch of different things. We found Velcro that worked pretty well. And so it got me through the tour, and it worked great. And later, once we, started going full time, we worked, with the Velcro company, and we get like, our own like Velcro that works really well with the drum rugs. And so, yeah, it's been great. But it came out of like a, 11th hour desperation to get ready for a tour. And then it was kind of like, I knew it worked for me. And as I'm on the tour, the sound guys are like, what do you got down there? Like, what's going on? So it was like it was piquing people's interest. I'm like, okay, this could be something.
The trick. What do you do? What do you got going on over there?
Did the name coin happen as you were developing it, or was it like you throwing up like different names? Like, what should we call this thing?
We were shopping around a couple different ones. It came about pretty quickly, but I think before KickBlock, we wanted to do Kickstop. And then that turned out to be some like gun part manufacturer. And it was like,
man.
Of course.
Yeah.
we're not going to pick a fight with them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Trademark.
Quickly.
It's a gun company too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then once we got to KickBlock, it works even better. It's a bit more,
I like it better too.
The block, it stops the kick, it blocks the kick.
Easy to remember too. Great for marketing.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to, every product we got coming down the pipeline, I'm like, how can I fit it into the block form, like pedal block, something block. So
yeah. And do you is it only national sales, or you do international as well?
We do international. We have distributors internationally, and some shops go directly through us internationally, and you can buy from our website internationally. It's just the shipping is super expensive. So I always try to push somebody, if it's possible, save everyone money, like save them money really.
Especially those tariffs.
From a store. Yeah, tariffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and just the shipping, one block is more than the block itself.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's insane.
Yeah. So one day we'll figure out how to do that better and get it out to more people. Like that's kind of like one of the focuses of the next year. But for now,
and doing big events too. Like you guys are showcased, and people come, and right away they're like, yeah, this is wow. Where were you all my life?
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed you got our boy Johnny Rab on your roster there. I was like, hey, I know that guy.
That's like our godfather.
Yeah, he's one of the nicest guys.
Oh yeah,
he's amazing.
Was very lucky to early on like get in touch with, like, just by chance. Like either they reached out to me, or I just with my little like 200 person account DM them. And some of these guys have been so nice, and Johnny is one of them. He's always been like keeping in touch, and just really nice guy.
Yeah, he's an innovator himself, so he can see like the quality of the product.
Yeah,
and me, and we also had his tech on Wayne.
Oh yeah,
and smart guy.
Yeah, the two of them are just two great guys, and very funny. I love watching
Yeah.
Johnny's
Yes.
stories.
They're great.
There was one time, I don't know if you saw, he auditioned for Wang Chung, and he was just geeking out because he had all the like samples for Everybody Have Fun Tonight.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah.
clip. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, he's the best guy.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of other people on there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. We have a lot. For the most part, it's a one-man show, so I try to keep the roster pretty small, and I also, admittedly, I'm sorry to any artist watching, I'm pretty bad at updating the website, so there's more than on the website.
Yeah.
But
It's a lot to
Yeah.
be a one-man like
You're
company
you're
that
managing
you're
a lot of
managing.
it. Yeah.
The media stuff is really hard, but
yeah,
you're
yeah.
on it though. You're still doing it, and I feel like especially now, it's like you gotta keep up with everything because
I know.
it changes so fast that you get left behind so quick. So it's like really hard, and we understand how that
Oh,
feels.
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys are constantly updating and just trying to like, oh, this is what we do now. Okay,
Yeah.
yep, okay.
Yeah, I always
Everything
tend
I
to
learned yesterday. Gone.
change everything, and then
Yeah.
she comes here and she's like, "Wait, what happened? Where's the
Yeah.
buttons?"
Yeah, this happened. Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, I try to make it simpler." It's like, "No, I liked it the other way."
Yeah, it's like so
Yeah.
many changes all
Yeah.
the time. And then tech,
know.
it's always changing. And you guys also now incorporated the rug, which
Yeah.
is awesome because I mean that's
Yeah.
another kind of thing that marries great together with the KickBlock.
Right.
I love
right.
the strap that you put on there to
Yeah.
route the wires and stuff for microphones and whatnot.
Yeah. Wanted to do something that put our own spin on drum rugs and try some stuff because they're drum rugs are different than regular rugs, but at the end of the day, it's the surface of the floor, and so I was trying to just do a little innovation and try and see what we can come up with.
I'm gonna do a quick tour of your website here. Let's
Oh yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
show it.
show this. First I gotta capture it because I didn't do that. Oh.
That's always great when you go and find drummers that are like, I mean, I don't know who would say no to you because this
Oh,
is
yeah.
something every drummer needs this
Yeah,
in their
exactly.
life. Like if you don't have, what are you doing? Like KickBlock, And
Yeah.
so is there any drummers that you actually would love to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
We've been lucky enough to work with a lot of great drummers. Obviously, like the big, the celebrity drummers out there, like the Dave Grohls and stuff. That'd be great. But as far as the modern, working drummers, I've gotten to meet a lot of great guys, and whether work with them officially or on their private side, like some people have certain relationships with different companies where
Right.
but they still will like at least reach out, say hey, and we get communications going, and so it's great to just be a part of that community and just get to meet them all. So I've been lucky to meet a lot of great ones, and just
So what are
looking
your
forward
top 5 then? I guess I should ask you that question.
to top 5
Drummers.
just drummers in general.
Yeah, that you've been inspired by and
Yeah.
that you would love to work with as well.
Yeah, so I'll do like the first 2. I'll do my like growing up drummers. I grew up very like rock heavy, so it was Dave Grohl, Chad Smith, and I'll throw Stuart Copeland in there, so that's 3. And then in more recent years, I really love and I've gotten to work with Benny Rogers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's the drummer for Blackpink.
Oh.
He just did G-Dragon, like a lot of
Okay,
K-pop
yeah, that's
stuff.
huge. Yeah, that's huge.
There's
Yeah.
like one band for, I think the company's called YG, but there's one band that kind of does all their big artists, and the drummers.
I gotta
Benny
check them
Rogers,
out then, because I know Blackpink is really huge. They're like
Yeah.
the biggest thing right now.
Yeah, and he's a great drummer, and gotten to see him play live, and also just meet him and talk to him, and super nice guy. If you guys love talking with Benny, if you love talking with Johnny,
Yeah.
you love talking with Benny, because same,
Oh
super
yeah.
nice.
That's
So
great.
I know then I'm gonna like them.
Yeah, and then
This
I
is the
really
last
love
one,
the
right?
way-
Top so
Yeah,
far
so-
4.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is a hard one.
There we go.
Yeah, I'll say there's a lot of great drummers out there, but I love the way Eric Moore plays.
Tight.
And yeah, just the way he plays and attacks everything, and kind of like, he just kind of goes full throttle, and then kind of comes back, and then when you least expect it. Oh, and also Chris Coleman, I'll throw him in there.
Oh,
We
He's
got
got
to
some
see
great
him at
points.
oh my God.
was the
The
UK,
drum show. He was
played
one of
there.
the
Yeah.
featured drummers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He
Yeah.
took me away. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I used to, when I was, studying in school, just doing like regular homework, I would just have like his stuff on loop, just listening. It was awesome, inspiring.
Incredible
Yeah.
live
So I
too.
got your website up here now.
All right, let's
We
check
can
it out.
Load it up, and then we get a
KickBlock.
nice little tour of the site. So I'm on the artist roster. So there's Johnny.
There goes Johnny.
You got Logan Shepherd, and
Very
then
nice
you have.
guy.
I know there goes Semi.
CMED. He's a great drummer. I think he lives in London, and I met him at NAMM.
Oh.
Super nice guy, and he has some cool. If you ever like check out the Drumeo courses, he's got some cool courses on there.
And then you got Darshan.
Darshan, he's a really great drummer from India.
And then you have a whole list of other people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how do you decide who to have on your roster? Like, how do you pick them?
It's a whole mix. Right now, we're kind of having to like kind of cut off the roster just because it got to be too big for me to handle, and so it's like I want to make sure that I can give every artist like the time of day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so when there's too many, it's like balancing and keeping everything organized. But I think for drum companies in general, it's like you're looking at, of course, there's the Instagram and TikTok side with the social media, but then also just the effort that the drummers put forward and like the enthusiasm. Like I had guys that like, they just kind of kept on asking, and like I'd always say, I'm not able to do that right now.
Yeah.
But then like they just keep on their own promoting it, and then when I am able to do it, I reach out and say, hey,
So consistency
thank you so
is
much.
important.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's a good tip.
And sincerity too. I will always appreciate, if you actually use the product. Some people just say, I don't know what you do, and I have free stuff, and it's like,
That's
come
not
on,
good.
come on.
yeah, it's
Come
like
on.
we're all everyone that gets this product is a drummer, so it's like, like I can't just, if you're a drummer, I can't say, hey, I love drummers, take the stuff. So it's
Earn
like,
it, baby, earn it, and I
Yeah.
want to see you
Yeah.
Put in
playing
the
with
work.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
put in the work.
yeah.
And,
But
yeah.
I also was a young drummer who would, say, Evans, can I, please sponsor me? So like I was on the other side of the coin, and I will never judge anyone. Like, send your emails my way, and I will do my best to reply. I know I miss replying to some artist inquiries, but
Hey, Will, you're doing
I
a
appreciate
lot
the
on your
hustle.
own
Yeah.
too. I mean, you hustle, you do everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can
Yeah.
respect that because hey, you can't say yes to everyone, and you
Right.
you have to earn it, and you got to see them putting the work, the consistency, and
Yeah.
also you got to really like their style,
And-
and having to represent the company is a big deal.
Not only that, like
Mhm.
it's the relationship too, right? It's like
yeah.
you got to establish the connection, and then talk and be accustomed with one
Yeah.
another. Because if without that, it's like you're just throwing out a product to someone you don't even know
Right.
if they're gonna
Exactly.
even use it or
Yeah.
even care about it. It's like
Yeah, I'd say I've gotten a couple great friendships out of just, meeting drummers through like having them asked to be artists and stuff. And, there's a guy in Philly that I hang out with, Austin Marlowe. He's in this band called Snack Time. And I met, I have this great friend. So I went to a music school, and I have a great friend. His name's Bass Janssen. Let me get that right. And he has also like connected me to a bunch of LA drummers because he's out there, and Diamond Johnson, who now plays for Beyonce, but at the time he was with
Whoa.
Kid Leroy and then Gunna. So I kind of got to watch him, do his
Yeah,
walk
blow up.
and-
Yeah, get big.
But so he's come to shows of mine when we would play out there in LA, and I got to see he was doing this really cool business where he like was running basically like a practice facility for drummers, and then he was expanding that. So we would talk business and we talk drums, and he's been great in using KickBlock and always helping promote it. So yeah, I definitely value the actual relationship a lot.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to keep it
grow
small.
too. That's amazing to be able to see them go into the heights that they've dreamed of. That's amazing too to see.
And
exactly.
like we came across your product for the first time, and we heard about it. I think through I've been seeing the ads come through like Instagram, and I'm like, okay, that's a pretty cool product. But I didn't dive too deep into it until I seen it for the first time at a studio that we went to practice in here in Manhattan, Funkadelic Studios.
Okay,
and
nice.
every single one of their rooms has a kick block. And then I think we did a video and we tagged you guys on it, and we were like, hey, I've been seeing this around all the time.
Fucking cool.
And I need one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
it was such a cool moment to have that kind of like connection between the product and the ad. And then and now that we're doing the podcasts, we've been catering to a lot of drummers, and we're like, you know what, we should really start like reaching out to companies that cater to drummers too.
Yeah.
So that we can put a spotlight on that as well. So I'm so glad that you gave us this opportunity to be on here and talk about your stuff.
Of course. Yeah. No, I'm happy to.
After having so many drummers.
Yeah, that's a great. I think that's a lot of people's kind of experiences. Like, they might see that either they just like doesn't click, or maybe they're skeptical about like what would that thing do, like, or I don't need that, and then they see it and they get it because it's so light and it's so relatively small compared to what like drummers really put on there, and
it's too good to be true product.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
And the thing is, like, that's the most annoying thing that we've always had. Like, you go on the drums and then it's like,
man, I had this show, even at like stages where I'm using a house kit and the house kits are flying, so I gotta make sure I have one in my bag so I can like plop it down. But like I had those moments where I'm just like trying to reach out, pull it back,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's definitely
genius.
something that you need to have, and you never know like when you're gonna need it, especially if it doesn't move, it's fine, but like always have that as like a Swiss Army knife just to throw out there.
Your tool bag. So in the website you see the different types of products.
So
you started with the kick block itself, right?
Yeah.
If I can get.
And then the next thing we came up was about a year later, or maybe two, was a pedal block. And so that goes, hi-hat stands, double kick pedals, like the extra foot. I would use it a lot on my hi-hat, and then I had like a KT10, like the trigger pedals.
Oh yeah.
So I would have that there because those kind of start going and they come creeping out, like the heel starts flying up. So I'd have it on those, and just little cajon pedals, or if you have like a remote pedal anywhere. So
yeah, and I noticed there was a video, I think I even showed it on the intro, that you had it. You can use it on both sides because like the curved side is good for like the thinner stands, and then for the flat end is good for like the kick, the auxiliary kick pedal.
Yeah, and some people's stands kind of like curve out a little bit or have like a bit of an angle, and so if it was a flat one, it would start to pivot. So you got the the angled side where it can kind of just nest in there, and so
you got the drum rugs here. Multiple sizes, and I went and looked at the drum rug, and I was like, I was trying to see like what's the largest size you have, and then you even do custom to fit orders too.
Oh,
that's
what you need to get, the custom, because he has a big, when he plays with because we play with the electronic kit too. But his big kit, when he brings the whole thing, it's insane. It's like a Mike Portnoy setup.
Yeah, it's nutty.
So we do an 8x8, which I don't think anyone else really has an 8x8 drum rug. I may be wrong, but I get a lot of people that saying, I've been looking for this forever. Like, I need this, and we have to do it. So the way we get the journey for the carpets was, we were looking forever. You know, at first I was just like, oh, there's got to be like a carpet I can just buy and stick the name on. Not that I love doing that, but I didn't think I could like be making carpets. And it just couldn't find something that was of the quality we wanted. So then we I did some meetings with we have a textile university here in Philadelphia. Talked to a professor. I was like, this is what I want it to do. What kind of material? Like, I was just trying to learn the words. And then he told me about, one of the big carpet manufacturers in the US. I did a lot of calls with them, went back and forth, did a lot of like research, trial and error. And so we made up our own, like, it may just look like a black rug, but it's our own specific, like, we want it to be flexible and durable for the KickBlock to pull on and off, and
not fray as much.
So is it nice and thick and heavy?
It's pretty light. So the whole thing is 8 pounds and 4 ounces.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's a little thicker than some of the other ones out there. It's not as thick. There are some, I won't name names, but they're very tightly wound. But then, if it doesn't hold up with Velcro, like if you have Velcro on your, like, on any of your stuff, or if you have like a KickBlock, it'll kind of start to fray more. And ours really holds together. Like, I wore my arm out one day. I was just testing, and we got to like 400, and it's still working fine. Wow. So it's like,
who needs a machine when you have an arm?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like one arm is larger than the other just for KickBlock, just to be pulling off.
Yeah. Suddenly, as I'm like 250, and I'm like, that price for the machine might be pretty good right now.
Have a counter on the other arm, like.
But so we get custom carpet rolls, and so we have like one where we can make 8x8s. So it's a 12-foot, and so I make 8x8s and 4x4, and then we have one that like is more tailored to like, it's 11, so we can make 2 of our standard sizes, and we try to limit the waste, because when you're left with like a foot of carpet, you can't do anything with it. So trying to really streamline that, because we're constantly like just barely in stock, and with the 8x8s and the 4x4s right now, we have to do that in just batches and like drops, which is fun and it makes it exciting. But love to get to the point where I can get more people, got to teach more people how to make it, and hire more people, and then we can like just,
manufacture
make
more,
a lot more
and
have 8x8 rugs for everybody. But the 8x8 has brought a lot of cool, we like Sticks, they reached out and got one. Sticks, Lenny Kravitz, Mumford and Sons, they just got one. There's one, I'm gonna sing the tune. It's embarrassing that I can't remember.
Oh, you know this one.
It's
like
got
a
all the
hair metal.
skeletons.
Yeah.
This is bad.
You play this one.
Yeah.
Is it?
Iron Maiden.
Iron
Oh my
Maiden,
God.
there it
That's,
is.
like,
Yeah.
of all the
Jeez.
I was
bands to
gonna say
forget.
AC/DC, and I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it.
Yeah.
How horrible are we?
I know. It's
only dad rock.
everyone out there. It's Sunday. It's
I got my coffee here. I'm starting
gray
to.
out.
I need another coffee.
In all fairness, I knew when you hummed it. I knew.
Yeah, we know the song. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But that's
My humming
awesome.
was perfect.
That your rugs are getting out there, and the name is getting out there through that. And it's funny because I was working through your site, and then I was looking at the facts, right, to see what most of the questions people ask, and then you have those listed. The one thing that caught my attention, which is great because you're also catering to non-drummers for this rug.
Yeah.
And what you put on there was, we also recommend this size if you are looking to furnish your living room.
Oh, yeah. Like,
What better way to subtly let your guests know you drum than to have the KickBlock drum rug under your feet?
And I will say we have one that has been used as a household rug. I have there's a big like shared warehouse where we work out of, and one of our warehouse neighbors, she bought one to use in her like front room, and so I tried to tell her like, I don't think it'll look as nice as like but she got it. She supported us, and so that was great. So it's used in one household, so I can say that on the website.
There you go. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
if you're not a drummer, you can still make use of
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
the drum blocks.
Yeah.
Because, if you have things that tend to vibrate and it shifts around, maybe speakers
yeah.
or something, you just put that on the
Yeah.
rug, put a couple drum blocks, it won't go anywhere.
Yeah. Or you could turn it into like a cat scratching post.
That too.
Uh,
It's durable.
yeah.
So you were at NAMM this year?
Not this year. We went to NAMM in 2020, like probably a month before COVID happened. It was probably like the first super spreader event. But we're going to the Music City Drum Show in July. Excited about that.
Oh, where's that going to be?
That's down in Nashville. And it's July 17th and 18th, I believe, or 18th and 19th.
So that weekend from Thursday to Sunday?
Yeah. And so that would be great. That's going to be our first show in a while. It's just a big expense, and especially to get the rugs down there and everything. It costs us a lot, but we want to get our feet back in there and get out and see the drummers and stuff, because we've done some local events, but we kind of are limited to like the tri-state area.
And have you done events here in New York?
Not New York, done Delaware and PA. But I'll have to keep an eye out if there are any. I'm just kind of getting familiar with the different ones, so I gotta figure them out. But New York is so close. Kind of feels like I'd say New York is like the suburb of Philadelphia in my opinion, but I'm sure it's more the other way.
Like the brother country, the brother neighbor. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, having events like that is huge because you have a lot of traffic, a lot of eyes seeing you, and then they get to try it out and see it and feel it. Because a lot of people do order things, online, but it's like for you to see it and try it is really a different feel because then it works and you see it for yourself. So that's great. That I hope you sell out everything that you take.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have anyone out on, I guess, like a street team where they're, selling and trying to pitch to different vendors or studios for it?
Not at the moment. It's kind of Instagram makes that so easy. Like you can kind of like reach out to people. That's sort of how I got started. I just was reaching out to different drummers and reaching out to shops, and between email, phone, and Instagram, just kind of saying, hey, I've got this. Let me know if you're interested.
Are you doing this organically, or are you incorporating any AI tools into there?
I have to get more with the AI times because it's just kind of like, I think this is the first thing where I'm noticing, I'm the old guy saying, technology.
AI, what is this crap?
In a year from now, you're gonna see how this is taking off right now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be nuts. So yeah, it's like you have to. I think everybody's a little bit like hesitant at first, but
I know.
It's definitely something to capitalize on because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. And so I've been trying like this last month just to get it to help me with just like the writing stuff, because I'm not great at doing social media posts or stuff. So if I can just get a little help on that end. But I like to hire, I got a lot of friends that do a lot of things, so I like to get them involved when I can, and if anyone needs help, I try to like give them a little extra work if I can. And so, but yeah, I think whether it's me using AI or a friend using AI for me, it's like,
as long as they get the work done, it gets out there.
Yeah.
And are you in any retailers, local retailers?
Yeah. We're in a lot of local shops. We distribute primarily through Big Bang. They're a big drum accessory distributor, so a lot of shops like buy their accessories through them. So we're kind of spread throughout the whole country. There's a couple of shops around here. I'm trying to think of there was a drum shop in New York with a couple of shops, and I can't. It was somebody's name.
It was like a mom and pop shop, or was it a big?
I think they had 3 locations, but we sold to them a couple times. So we're around. Like I think there's a good shot if you walk into your drum shop, they'll have KickBlock.
And
If
Awesome.
not, tell me, and I'll make sure they do.
okay. um, are you? When did you started the distribution stuff? Like how? Like when you created it and the
That,
production.
yeah, that started. So the tour I went on where I made it was, I believe, 2018, and then by the following year, like probably February of 2019, I think was our first sale. And then very quickly, we kind of ran into like, call the drum shop, say, hey, I got this thing. Would you be interested? And very quickly, people were like, we only will, you know, you got to go through. Like some people like kindly said, this is how you do it. This is how the drum shop world works. So it was pretty early on that we got into Big Bang. We did a lot of calls with them, and I was actually on a U.S. tour, and so I think I seemed like a smaller person, not just like it was an unknown company. I'm emailing them saying I got this product, you know, and so I kind of just said I will be in Los Angeles, on this day, and like I didn't say why, but I was just like I'll be there. I'm coming to your door, and so like got to drop it off, got to meet the guys there, super nice, and we also got a meeting with Guitar Center there, and
Nice.
which
Yeah.
those guys were super nice. I don't think they ended up picking us up. We were in Sam Ash before Sam Ash made
Yeah.
his final farewell, sadly,
Oh.
and we're in Sweetwater. That's the other big one that
You're in
we're in.
Sweetwater. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 that's definitely like the biggest one out of all of them.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Sweetwater's huge.
Well, I think also, being in that kind of arena, right? Being a drummer and pitching your idea,
Yeah,
they saw it. They saw the idea. They saw
yeah,
the genius. They're like, wow, like I said, everyone should have one because it's
yeah,
something everyone needs. Even though, depending if you're using a house kit, sometimes it sucks and it moves around. It's just
right.
good. It's a good tool to have.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
it's like, wow, somebody has to see this for what it is. So I mean, right away when they see it, and they're like, yeah, I mean, why not? This is something that we all need, right? So
yeah,
they saw that, and that's one of the things. You never know. You just got to keep knocking on doors, asking, like, do you feel like this will be something that you'll be interested in? So they saw
yeah,
it in you, and that's why. So that's
yeah,
the beauty of it, and networking, and not being afraid to just pitch the idea when you have one.
yeah. And I think it helped that I had there were a lot of drummers early on that were like big names that were really just kind and said, sure, I'll use it. I'll make a post. Like I would never ask if I send a block to somebody. I would never say, can you make a post? But they would go out of their way and do that on their own. Thomas Pridgeon, within the first month of the company, he got back to me, which was at the time that was like one of my idols, and it
Oh
still
yeah,
is. But
that's
it was just like it was a
amazing.
huge
Yeah.
moment, and the fact that like they're accessible and you can reach out and they will like interact with you. So that was great. There's a really good drummer that I was on a tour with, and he took it back and like he took an early prototype and gave me some notes, and he was super helpful. So there's been some great people that are just people are very kind and more open to helping out than I think you'll feel when you're out there kind of like not knowing where to go. Like people will go out
I
and
mean,
help
here
you.
you are talking to us, and
Yeah.
we're not like a huge,
well,
podcast, but you're
I
giving
feel-
us the time,
Uh,
and I appreciate that because that's what I mean. Like when you see
Well,
that there's a community in the drummers community and
definitely.
the tools
And I
that
feel
we
the
all need.
same about you guys, like giving me the limelight here and the chance to talk to your audience. I don't think no one's been clamoring at my door to get me on the air yet. So thank you for reaching out. And this, yeah,
It's an honor. It's an
likewise.
honor.
Yeah.
And I know also, symbol wise, right? The pasties.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you are also like on board with
Feisty
them.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did that
That was
happen?
great. It was actually it all kind of happened at the same time. It was the same tour where I came up with KickBlock. It also reached out, and Peisty gave me a shot and kind of took a chance on me, and it was great. I love their cymbals. I think my favorite is the 602 Moderns. I don't know if you've played any of those, but they're super great. They're kind of like the perfect anywhere cymbal. They're super smooth, super clean sound. Really just kind of like wash over things. So I have like a 22, I think 22, a 19, and an 18, and the hats.
The big cymbals
but
are
I
great.
also- yeah, yeah.
That was gonna be
Like,
my next
love-
question. Like, what is your dream kit as a drummer?
Oh, I would love. I never got to use a gong drum live, and I always
Oh,
wanted to.
yeah.
I think my dream kit would be Taylor Hawkins, and a couple other guys used to have like the basically the one up, two down, but then they have an extra rack tom to the side. And so you get the full like the all the rack toms, but you keep the cymbal setup because I for most of my drumming life I've been like a one rack tom. So to have like them going to the left and maybe some rototoms coming in, and two floors. I would love a gong drum, and also there is a time when a lot of drummers had a side snare and then a really like a fat snare above their floor toms, or sometimes the fat snares on the side and the high pitched snares above their floor toms. But that always seemed fun, like putting drums in different spots so the same motion creates this whole different sound. you know Everyone's, you just go up, you go down, but if you put like snare drum here, floor drum there, and rack tom there, you get a totally different feel.
Makes you
So
really
doing that
think
kind of
about it.
stuff.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I love the what they call the snoms, right? Like the snare
Yeah,
toms.
yeah.
I think Tama had released one from an SLP line,
Yeah.
and it has a throw off for a snare, but then you can put it you throw it off to take off the snare and then make it a tom, right? I think
Yeah.
it's like a 14-inch, 14 or
Yeah.
16, which is really nice. So that's on my bucket list.
Mm.
Yeah. Those look awesome. And yeah, so I mean, drums,
Yeah.
love them. Like,
And we're gonna show a quick clip of you playing here.
Oh, yeah.
great.
This one is from your previous band that you were with, Joy,
Joy
again.
Yeah.
I'm your
And
dog.
I'm your dog. This is like
This is a live.
Can you give us a little bit of context of the show here?
Yeah, I think so. This is our first show after the shutdown, and we had just had we were blessed and cursed with a TikTok hit. So this is like the first into like, we didn't know what to expect. We're like, are we gonna be in like planes and buses? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? So this was the first show back. This is like August of 21, I think. And Boston at the Sinclair, which is a great venue. Everyone there is super nice.
It's like a nice crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did like a mix. I think we were opening for like a local punk, not like a local to us, but like a big punk band called Tiger's Jaw, if anyone knows them. But they're from the Philadelphia area, and yeah, it was a great show. I remember it was just felt great to be back playing. Like that was like I think that was our second show. But so just was very excited to be back. And
The cymbals were really high up there.
yeah, I started doing that as a drill. Like my drum teacher, David Latimer, he's a great drummer. I think he's in Nashville now. He, said, okay, put your cymbals up high and spread your toms out really far, and sort of like almost like a workout.
Gotta get that
And then I
accuracy.
just got used to it, and so I kind of always play with my cymbals like as high as they
Speaking
can
of
go.
working out, you got some guns there, Will.
Yeah.
Now I know that the kick,
The KickBlock
KickBlock
is put to the test. Yeah.
gets you some guns too while you're, moving it around. Amazing.
Yeah.
That was
So
really
that's
cool.
a lot of load-ins will do that to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
And the stairs, up and down the
I mean,
stairs.
we know.
Yeah.
I'm always helping him with his equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, we played it was a show at the Delancey, and it's like down in like almost like a basement area.
Oh,
And-
It's like
yeah.
you're going down a dungeon and
Yeah.
you're just like
It's
in
a nice
narrow-
stage, right? It's a nice room,
Yeah.
but it's such a narrow stairwell that when you're bringing your drums or you're like I brought my E kit. They have a house kit there, but
Yeah.
because I play on an E kit, it's like this rack system I'm carrying with all the cables and
Yeah.
telling people move out of the way because I gotta go. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know the
somehow
struggle. We know the struggle
Yeah.
for sure.
band members sort of disappear when the hardware case is the last one standing. It's like, no, nobody wants to pick this up. Okay.
No, I'm happy that Yen
Yes.
helps me bring
I'm
this
like
stuff
that
up.
real all by
Yeah.
myself, and then I come in and it's the singer.
See me unloosening the cymbals,
I'm
pouty
like,
face.
I'm here for you. Oh man, yeah. I mean, that's another thing, right? Reels and skits and things like that. We've been doing those. Those are really fun.
Yeah. Those are fun.
And it
yeah.
was, it wasn't really something that we planned, but I think that's kind of part of the times is just being creative and doing things and being silly. And drummers are always the silly ones and the fun ones in the band, I would have to say.
Yeah. And by virtue of the instrument being multiple instruments, and also by virtue of like, you got to be the one that brings the gear, and you got to be the one that organizes the rehearsals growing up. So I think drummers are just kind of like, we get prepped to be doing multiple things and wearing multiple hats. So I think we'll be okay in the future. I think our drummers will rise to the top.
Oh, heck yeah. You
Yeah.
guys are like the ones in the space station just doing
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
The heart of the song.
I met a electrician recently, and he said he learned to only hire musicians because they were the most dedicated. They would come on time, and they would like understand the work and be very like diligent. So
Oh,
think
that's
drummers-
interesting. I believe it.
Yeah.
Gotta be drummers though, right? Drummers first because
Yeah.
they're the first
They're
there
good with
and they're the
wood.
last ones
Yeah.
out. So.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, Will, here comes the part of the last big question that I like to ask because it's part of everyone that's been on here gets the 12 songs of the soundtrack of your life, which is songs that can span from your childhood, which song you learned how to play on the drums first, what song is your favorite right now, a song that reminds you of your parents or your childhood, anything that really
Yeah.
resembles the 12 songs that reflect your life in 12 songs.
Yeah. Okay. So I tried to put them in. It starts sort of chronologically. I think I get a little loose by the end. And I won't go into like a 20-minute like I was first born, but
Anywhere you want to
so-
go with it.
yeah. So I think there was a couple of CDs that we played a lot in the house. Like there's like a lot of Lyle Lovett and like Mary Chapin Carpenter, and then a lot of Motown. But there's one song that me and my sisters loved because we would get the spoons and we'd all be like clacking around. Iko Iko by the Dixie Cups.
Oh, okay.
But it starts with like a dun, 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 dun.
So that's what
And-
like when you were a child and you remember that being with your sisters. That's nice.
Yeah, we get the spoons. We try to make when you get two spoons and then you can bang them together. We try to do that, but as
Like
kids,
Spoon
we couldn't
Man?
do it.
Like the guy in
Yeah.
the video.
I think I'd
It's an
end up
art.
using like
That's an art form right there. It's
it
art.
is.
It's
Yeah,
lost.
when you
It's
see
the lost
people-
art.
Yeah, that and those the things where they're like flipping, like it looks like just like a
Oh, like a ball
kid's
that
toy.
goes around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're just like that stuff looks cool. So that was number one, and then listened to a lot of Motown, and I still do. But so the Temptations, "Ain't Too Proud to Beg."
Oh yeah. I love Motown. I get into these like days where I'll just listen to Motown or jazz or acid jazz and
Yeah,
like yesterday we were listening to sitar metal. So it's like
Oh,
I get
nice.
into these zones. So I
Yeah.
get it. I love
Yeah.
Motown too.
and I think maybe not underappreciatedly, but like I don't think the drums. I think they were Motown was super drum forward, and the sound of the Motown drums and like the way they were played was like pretty like that's the song almost. But there's so much great stuff going on in those songs that no one's gonna say the only thing about Motown's the drums. But I like in my later years, if anyone was saying, okay, what do you want these drums to sound like, I would always like bring back certain songs, and "Ain't Too Proud to Beg" was one of them. Where it was like a childhood song that later came back, and just the ride like bell in the beginning
Yeah.
was just like I would try to like. I remember one time where a producer was like, you gotta lay off that bell if you want the Motown sound. I was like, no, on the bell because I want the Motown song, and I had to like bring
Poor
this song
Belle.
up, and I was like, "This is why we're doing this. This is rock and roll,
I
baby."
know what I want.
Oh, so then the next song early on that kind of defined the way I played was I had a quick Beatles phase growing up, and then it was very specific because it was like could only get like I only had so much money to buy CDs, and so like I wasn't gonna get like every CD, so it was a lot of like greatest hits, but then the cheapest one at the record store that day was like this like unmastered collection, and so it was a lot of like raw just
Ooh.
in the studio content, and it was If You've Got Trouble by the Beatles, and it
Mhm.
just starts with like there's like two takes where they start the intro and they stop, but it's he's just like crashing on the ride and just like rolling with that, and it kind of is like bouncing the tape somehow, like it's kind of like a little messed up, but it just sounded so cool and it was like really washy, and so I for a lot of my drumming I just was always on the ride. I had a before I was with Pisces, I had like a sweet ride that was like the classic ride for everyone, and that crashed really well. And now the giant beat and the 602 modern, they are amazing when you start wailing on them. It just fills the entire room. So that was like something that like early on influenced me. Then first talent show was Danny California, so I had to put that up there. That was Stadium
Oh.
Arcadium was when I was in middle school, and um, middle school and high school, I was big into the Chili Peppers, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, Rage Against the Machine, Queens of the Stone Age. So I had like a lot of that growing up, and I was almost like a little too exclusively into that in high school. It's just like, no, I don't want to listen to anything new. It's just this stuff. But so
Do you feel that
after
it's
that,
still like that? Because I know I grew up with that too, and it's like you always go back to
yeah,
that time. Do you really
yeah,
feel like I don't know? I've heard this like after I think it was Beato said something about it. He's like after like 30, 32, you start kind of going into like it's hard to find things you fall in love with as hard as you did when you was a teen and in your early 20s. Do you feel that?
I would totally say so. And I wasn't thinking about it in an age way. For me, it was like last year was like kind of my last year of like, oh, who knows? We'll see if it keeps going. But that was like my last year is like really doing drumming full time. And so, I was always listening to new bands to find someone to bring out on tour, or if we were going to open for someone, I would, listen to all their stuff. So it was a lot of different like anytime we played with somebody, I'd be listening to their music and then keeping up with all the other new bands that we played with. So I was just always exposed to new stuff, and I was just kind of in that world. And since leaving that, but also since turning 30, now 31, it's like, it,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So I have been like going back. Like now when I'm on my runs, I'm listening to Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, nonstop.
It's
They're
just a
Queens
happy
of the Stone
place,
Age.
right? It's a happy place.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. So I put another Chili Peppers song on there, Right on Time. That was like, I love the way Chad Smith plays on that, very like aggressive. And then they just kind of go into like the little like kind of like shuffle, like it's just a very fun song. It's like I don't know if it even hits 2 minutes, but it's super quick, high,
Yeah,
low,
yeah.
very fun. And I used to in high school, I would go, and this is before they put everything online, but I would find like these like rare B-sides, and then I would find like songs that were only released on like the German, single of like this one song from this album. So there's one B-side from the Foo Fighters called Winnebago that I always loved. And then rounded that out with Aurora, which was from There's Nothing Left to Lose. And that was one of my favorite albums in high school. That was a big one. Then I think we're at 8. So it was
Yeah,
the
5
do
more.
do do. Oh yeah, the do do do, the da 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 is like a police song.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A do
And it had
do do.
I remember. I
Yeah.
remember that song with my
Da,
brothers.
da.
Me and my brothers would be dancing to that song.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, like I love the police, and I couldn't pick one song, but that song, like kind of the dynamics on the hi hat that he uses was always great, and just like that's something he uses and Stuart Copeland does in a lot of songs. So that was something that kind of like influenced me a lot. And then there's a cool Japanese band called Number Girl, and so Moide in My Head. I used to listen to that so much. They had like they were kind of like the Pixies meet Modest Mouse meet like Sonic Youth. They're like,
oh, I gotta check them
Yeah.
out. I like all
they're
those
really
bands.
cool. Yeah. And then I love Christmas music, so I had to throw in maybe my favorite Christmas song, This Christmas, the Donny Hathaway version.
Are you a
I know
winter baby?
Ugh.
Were you born in the winter?
I am. Yeah, January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes
I was
sense.
gonna say, you throw Mariah Carey in there, we're done.
No,
no.
it's like you can't hate it after a while. It's everywhere.
It's got, as far as the drums go, it's got some cool stuff where I think there's a drum kit, and then there's someone playing like a concert bass drum. So you kind of like, when you're listening to it, you think it's the concert bass drum, but then you hear this actually soft punchy kick in the background. So it's fun to play where you're kind of crossing over trying to hit the floor tom. But it's, that's more one I just listen to. I love Christmas music. And then
We really want to make a Christmas song. We were saying
Yeah.
last year because there isn't
you
enough
have to.
rock or metal Christmas songs. Think
Yeah.
about it. That's
Yeah.
why we're always listening to Mariah Carey and forcefully, right? Think
Yeah.
about it. I think bands, we got to get on that. We got to get
And,
on that.
what's not the Mahavishnu Orchestra. There's some there's like a metal Nutcracker that's always on the radio. It's not
Oh.
really metal, but it's got some
The
metal influence in it.
symphonic one, right?
Yeah.
The Trans-Siberian?
I think
Yes.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you think like that stuff's so cool.
Yeah, it is
Someone should
fucking
just do more of
cool.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And, so then recently, like in the last 5 years, I've gotten into like I don't even know. It's like, the era of Spotify. So I just have this mass playlist of different stuff. But
That's
it's
how you find cool stuff, though. It's like you just let
Yeah.
it ride, and you're like, "Ooh, who's this?" And you start.
Yeah.
That's what we do, and we find lots of
Yeah.
good bands that way.
Yeah, definitely. So it's I guess it's some kind of drum and bass, but it's Chasing Status. The song's called Program. And it's just like there's like I love a whole bunch of that stuff. There's like Furnace and just a whole bunch of like
I love drum and bass too.
yeah. It's like a world that I never grew up in, but I just like it just kind of speaks to me. And
Yeah.
then on that same side, but a little softer, but in like the more just like it's just something else. It's not like a song. I got into a lot of atmospheric stuff, especially great for like working. But
Oh
I
yeah, I
just listen
love
to,
it.
like,
Almost
To
like
have it
meditation.
in the background, like no
Yeah.
words, just like music, and you're in the zone.
yeah. So there's a
Soundscape.
song. Forget who it's by. Somebody Yakota, but it's called Blue Sky and Yellow Sunflower, and I think it's
Cool.
Claire de Lune it's like sampling a lot of that, but it's got this whole other element to it, and there's like these cool like just not meditative, but the loops like just kind of put you into a trance.
Yeah.
Like it's
Blue
very
sky,
interesting.
sunflower. What was it?
Blue Sky and Yellow Sunflower.
That's easy to remember because sunflowers are my favorite flower. And blue
Oh,
sky.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are two just like windows into like my present day. Like,
That's
No,
nice.
I think that's
a
your
solid
12,
list.
right?
yeah,
That's
that's
like
my
yeah.
12.
That's
Yeah.
a solid list right there. I love it. And I love that you have like everything from Motown to atmospheric music to
Yeah.
drum and bass, to like stuff you grew up with, alternative, metal, everything. Amazing. That just shows how interesting, amazing, and like you just have a lot in your playlist. I love that.
Yeah. My school had a whole massive library of CDs, and so I would go in there, and this is like 3 years before Spotify was like the big thing. So I would spend like my weekends, I was just like loading CDs and like burning everything, and like,
Burning CDs. You remember that? The
Yeah.
art of burning CDs. Perfect
But
CD.
so I like just forced myself to just kind of sometimes go alphabetically. Like I didn't know what I was burning, but I was like So just opened myself up to a bunch of different stuff. It was fun.
Will Butera, what an amazing guy you are! Wow, so much stuff we could have spoken for like another hour. It's so much stuff that we were trying to hit, but man, I really appreciate that you gave us this time and space, Will.
Of course.
Extraordinary person, and I just feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that you're gonna achieve and do, and I mean, you got the KickBlock, you got the rugs, and I'm sure you have more stuff that you're gonna come out with, right?
Yeah, we have some stuff, not ready to put it out into the world yet, but in this year, hopefully in the next few months, we'll have some cool new products that I'm really excited about.
Really excited for you and
forward to
everything.
it.
Yes,
and I'd be happy to come back on and talk with you guys.
Please,
about 100% anytime.
please come back. And you're not that far away. So if you're ever in the New York City area, or you're gonna come for a show, and we also go to Philly for shows too. It's always fun to go and visit. So we'll definitely do something and hang out one day, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, thank you so much. Stick around after the show. We say our final goodbyes. Everyone else that's been watching, appreciate you guys for hanging out. Be sure to check out all the products that KickBlock has.
Get yourself one.
Even if you're not a drummer, get yourself a rug.
The rug, all right? Stylish.
For your parents, Father's Day coming up.
Father's Day.
Perfect gifts. So stick around, and we will update you on our Discord. So command Discord, follow us on our Discord for our future shows to come. We do have a few more guests lined up this month and going into next month. Check out our upcoming show coming up July 17th. Tickets are available. Reach out to us for tickets. Check out our new single, Flight 98. Live streamed everywhere now. And support the cause for global citizens.
Thank you so much for the support, everyone. And we hope to see you on the next stream.
Bye.
Bye.